Call the meeting to order, the Henry County Memorial Park, April 21st meeting at, looks like it's about 6:04. I've taken the attendance already and we do have a quorum. Has anybody had a chance or everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the previous meeting to approve or consider?
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the previous meeting. That
That would be February.
That would be February's.
I second that.
No.
Motion has been made, seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. We have Cade's report here. Cade is really sick. Last time I talked to him a few hours ago, we think he's going to live, but we were discussing burial in the pond if he doesn't make it. So, I think everybody has a copy of those. I know he was going to elaborate on most of these points. I think some of the points to mention is that the Veterans Museum has come up with a list of maintenance requirements for the monuments in the park. He has those and he's going over those. And I think his plan is to maybe assign certain employees to certain monuments, let them pick out what they want, and they kind of adopt their own little monument for maintenance and give them the list of what they need to keep up on. We did get the PayGov website set up for the park. I don't know if Liz wants to elaborate on that when we get to that, but it's a better plan. She can explain it a little bit better. Should save us quite a bit of money on processing credit cards. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, that was pretty interesting. They found a shut off for some of the water pipes in the park that seems that most people didn't know where that was. And they managed to get it fixed and turned back on. So now the water fountains in the park some of them are working, if not all of them.
Is he making put more of the shut-offs and stuff is on there?
Yes, yeah, we're making maps as we find things, we're making maps of everything. And we're looking at decreasing some of the area that we're mowing, which will decrease some expenses, but more importantly, we're going to take some of those areas along the roads in some areas and probably till those up and work those into condition so we can turn those into wildflower fields. Seems to make more sense than trying to have everything in grass. That's not hardly native to the area. There were a couple of things that he wanted me to mention, and I forgot what one of them was. Oh, yeah, that was the Ink and Ale. That is April 27th, Ink and Ale Dine to Donate, and that's between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. I think we're all going to go, right?
Yeah.
Terry's buying, that's what I heard.
I'll be in
Sweet.
Florida that day.
Well, leave
I'll
your,
be thinking about you.
leave your credit card.
He did say to make it profitable, we needed at least 50
50 reservations.
reservations. And I
Yeah.
told him we had it in the bag because between my family and his family, we had the 50.
So we hope people will show up, anybody that happens to be watching this, or Katie's going to report it and beg people to come.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
It has been, it's been on there a lot.
I was pretty happy with the flyer because I made it look like a newspaper. I thought it was.
I plan to. I also wanted to mention, and Cade was going to talk about it, we've been talking about it. A couple of the things that have to do with the ponds at the park. And part of that program for the park repairs and maintenance and reclamation and everything was stocking of the pond. So that was done. We actually started doing that in late 25 when water pool level got back up. And that continued into the first part of 26 through March and June. We put in 500 hybrid bluegill, 1,000 largemouth bass, 750 red ear sunfish, 3,000 bluegill, 750 4 to 6 inch channel catfish, 500 channel catfish that were larger than that, and an additional 75,000 fathead minnows, 6 8-inch koi, and 25 triploid grass carp. So that was quite an undertaking to get that stocked. The grass carp, for those of you that are not familiar with what a grass carp is, they're a sterile fish. So they won't reproduce, and they eat the weeds in the grass. So that's better to use the grass carp than use any kind of chemicals in there. So we'll be using those. They don't,
What if somebody catches them? And
they're told to put them back in, and we're putting signs around the lake, and we're going to educate people that those are our friends. Be nice to them and put them back in there.
That's what the, right.
If somebody catches one in a couple of years, they'll probably get their line snapped because they get to about 40, 45 pounds. They can get really pretty big. But hopefully they'll treat them with the respect that they deserve and put them back in there.
Grass carp, but I bought about 50 of them to put in a pond, and about 7 years they had grown to be 35 and 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they start to get so big, or so they get lethargic.
Yep.
And you do have to remove them, but the only way that I can catch them was not on doughboys or anything else. It was off of strawberry.
Yeah. Been there, done that. Yeah.
Sorry.
But no, thanks. They're interesting to see roaming around the pond though when you see them. Yeah.
nobody be swimming.
Yeah, they'll be scared of them. Every once in a while, somebody will accidentally catch one, but they're not easy to catch. So anyway, we're gonna open it back up for fishing May the 1st. And everybody has to follow all the state DNR rules. DNR has been advised. They'll be making trips through the park and checking for licenses and all those DNR things that DNR likes to do. And any of the park employees, we're going to educate them a little bit too, but they have to follow the size limits and everything that they would have to follow anywhere else. The other thing we wanted to mention is that beginning Saturday, May the 2nd, canoes, kayaks, and paddle boards will be, you can use those on Shively Pond in the lagoon. The launch area will be off the road into the lagoon area. If they want to go into the Shively, they can go under the bridge. There is a waiver of claims and release that the board members have, that anybody that's going to put any watercraft on the ponds out there will have to sign before they can use it. And so that's kind of exciting. There have been people ask about being able to get their canoes and kayaks out there. Hopefully at some point we can do something for some launch stations off the pond there. We're going to keep it on file. Yeah. It'll just be a once a year thing. And people will be able to use their canoes and kayaks and whatnot out there during daylight hours. We're just going to make it dusk to dawn instead of trying to set hours. Everybody has to fill out the waiver. Yep. There's a place on here for anybody to fill it out. An adult's going to have to fill it out for a minor. No electric motors. Sheldon. Well, no, I just figured he'd be out there wanting to ski or something, you know? Anyway, that's all I have, and I think that's all that, without elaborating on Cade's stuff, I guess you can look at that. If you have questions, you can ask him, and he can explain stuff at the next meeting if he wants to.
So with regards to the boats and all the, I guess, pedestrian manned mode of transportation on the water, is that something that, that we already have a process for? How do we validate that somebody on the water has a waiver on file?
The waivers will be numbered. They're going to number them, and they have to keep one. They have
On
to
them.
have a copy. Yeah, they will have to have a copy of them. The instructions are going to be out there. So when they come in and get a waiver, we'll make a copy. We'll keep a copy. They'll have a copy. So anybody can walk up to them and say, do you have your waiver? If they don't have the waiver, you need to go up and get one right now. There's no cost so far. We don't plan for there to be, but if we do at some point, it will be very nominal, and it will be just to maybe maintain some launching sites or something like that.
I guess there'd be instructions for the rangers and others on
Yep.
how to enforce it, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Do what?
I said, I guess there would be some instructions for the rangers and
Yep.
park staff on,
This is the first I'm
is
hearing
that
about
something
it.
that you and Kate have been working on then?
Well, yeah, we have got a couple of weeks to get the last little detail.
Yeah, this is the first.
The record keeping out of the way.
Kate and I've been hit or miss a lot, so this is the first time I've heard about it.
We didn't want to get too far ahead of ourselves before we could actually say, hey, it's starting. Because we didn't want them out there before we had, Joel, of course, had to come up with our waiver, had to get all the legal things crossed, and we had to make sure that everybody was on board with it and it wasn't a legal issue or a liability issue. What do you have for us, Liz?
Ooh, lots of stuff. So this is my report. So all of these things have happened since the last time I've seen you all, which I feel like it's been quite a while. Kate and I worked together to get the calendar, everything off the old website onto our current calendar. There's been a little bit of a snafu, which I've had Jeff helping me with. I don't know, I think the last time he and Cade spoke, so I didn't hear about that. So on my end, my calendar is the main one for the reservations and everything, so we're able to share them. So once Emily comes back, she will be able to see all of the things as well. PayGov is fabulous. I love it. And you guys can see, I gave you all a report, so I'm able to give you a monthly report. I can go back and print off a monthly report. So all of this is from March, from when we first got the PayGov until March 31st. And it tells you it asks for a lot of information, but it's very simple and easy. And I can run a daily report and send it off to the auditor's office, and it's that fast. The Easter egg hunt was amazing. I don't even know how many kids we were, but I was sweltering in the hippity hop costume.
I seen you.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I think I did a pretty decent job. I tried to stay outside, but I ended up in a puddle, so it was fine. But we had, last count, Kate and I counted 30,000 eggs.
Did you
So
get
that
all
that was more than we had last year. I don't know, because by the time I came back in on Monday, the guys had already bagged everything up and took it. So I didn't have to see it. So let's see, Sheldon introduced us to some retired teacher friends of his late wife Barbara, and those ladies came in every week and filled Easter eggs for us. And we had some of the community service people on the weekends would help fill the Easter eggs as well. So we had a lot of help filling the eggs. I sent the first installment to Webb's. I have the proposal and the invoice on file at the office. I did get a phone call yesterday from someone. She did not say where she was from or anything, but she is mailing us a check. And Terry, it's the silver level, just so you're aware. My dad's bench was installed. I sent you all pictures of it and placement of where it is in case sometime in the future we have to do something to the lake and it has to be removed. We can put it back in that area. We've gotten a lot of compliments from it, and I have passed by at different times, day and night, and people have been using it, which that was my plan the whole time. It really touched me the other day when I passed by and there was a dad and his 2 kids, and that was the whole reason we put the bench there. Helen is helping me make a butterfly garden in the little planting area outside of my office. She decided she was going to name it Poppy's Garden today. I painted my office, and we're in the middle of painting Kate's office, and Tony liked it. He says it's very calming. The Dine to Donate is the 27th. We're having a Volunteer Appreciation Day, May 1st. Date is set, location and time will be sent out with the invite to everyone. We're still paying attention to the weather. If the weather's bad, we will do it in the Smith Building. If it's nice out, we will do it at one of the open shelters, possibly even the shelter house. So that way we can be throughout the park, but that's all of our volunteers, group entities, basically, Friends of the Park, the Henry County Rips, Sheldon, Jim, a lot of the volunteers that Kate and I came up with this to do as a thank you to all of our park volunteers and our Friends of the Park. The circus is coming May 6th, and it's at 7 o'clock. Katie, I gave you the flyer for the ticket information and everything. People will be calling me for that, and I have no information other than the flyer. Moving on, that's my report. Moving on to. We have certificates for everyone, and we are going to enjoy some snacky foods together. So hamburgers, hot dog, like a cookout. So, and moving on. So with the moving everything in-house, my monthly collections report looks a little bit different. So this came straight from Flame Tracker. This is everything that has been paid all of March. And then this one, I had to come up with some sort of sheet to do this for you guys, but it's serving 2 purposes. I can keep track of each shelter that's being reserved. So the 3 weeks that it took me to figure out 2024 and 2025, I don't have to redo all of that. So monthly, this will keep track for me how many reservations went out. Fireworks donations are on here as well, up at the top. And reservations. This, however, the stack that you guys looked in, that came straight from my binder. I'm keeping a binder with every reservation, every receipt, and every report from PayGov. So that way we can keep track of it. And that is all.
I think you were required to submit some of this on a daily basis versus the way
Yes.
it's been done before at the request of the state. Is that not correct?
Yes, so the process before was because predominantly we had money coming in, so we would just take it to the bank and deposit it in the bank and then, or to the auditor's office. Now I do a daily collections, any money that comes in, I fill out the paperwork and I take it to the treasurer's office, and then the auditor's office prints out the printout for me. It makes it so much easier, so we're able to keep better track of everything. It was a process to get everything merged together, and I have a feeling it's going to be another process once we get the website, if and when we get that website. Currently, right now, everything is in a neat compact pile that I can do all these things. So when Emily does come back, then she's scheduled to come back at the end of June. She did have her baby. He is adorable. And she had her baby the day of the Easter egg hunt. She did have a little bit of a hospital stay. She had some issue. I'm not really aware. Cade did speak to her. And at the time he did speak to her, she was getting ready to go home. So, but she is scheduled to come back at the end of June because she is getting married. So she will be coming back a few weeks after she gets married. She will be in the office with me on that Thursday and Friday, and then she will work that Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, Liz. Have you had a chance to look over the claims?
Would this be the March 2026 claims that we're
Yeah.
referring
Yep.
to?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, those are the claims that I have paid out.
The motion to approve the March claims, March 2026 claims.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion passes. Doesn't look like we have anybody here from RIPS unless Tony wants to say something. And Mr. Peckinpah isn't here.
I can.
I don't think I've ever been called Steve Peckinpah.
No, probably not.
That was my fault. I
Well,
left it on there.
That's
Yeah.
fine. What the museum is doing is we're working on the 250 celebration on June 20th. Like starts at 12, we're gonna eat and then have the people or from Revolution War family members. Yep, I can't tell you too much. You won't want to come.
Teaser.
Yeah. And then the Friends of the Park, they're doing that cleanup day or on May 16th. I guess what it is.
I don't know, do we
That
have
sound right?
that?
So,
I think it's on my calendar. I don't know that it's,
Don't remember seeing it on Cade. It's May 16th, you think?
yeah, he and Stephanie had a meeting the other day and they were talking. So I think that, I feel like they came up with the date then, but it is on the calendar. I do have it on the calendar.
okay. That's all I got.
Curious, your June 20th, is that in partnership with any other activities? Like anywhere else, or is that just the date you guys have picked?
We picked that date so it wouldn't overlap with anything else.
Why all like that?
Uh-huh.
Jim? Do you have anything? I see 4-H and Expo, and that's kind of in your bailiwick.
Lumped into that one. Lumped in?
You better come up with something.
I was thinking Sanders Shelter, not.
Okay, one on the bridge, I've fallen short on Sheldon, but I still owe him a materials list and still as I'm texting, trying to get that yet this week, the materials list on the bridge. So we can get that cost put together. On the, as far as the Sanders shelter, I was told yesterday that we're looking at breaking ground next week. So hopefully that will get started. And if they can get ground broke next week, then, I mean, still looking first, second week of May to get that completed, I think. That's the tentative timeline right now. And as far as the 4-H building, I have approached the commissioners to request $30,000 for maintenance on the 4-H building. Now, I have met with each of the commissioners up here to talk to them about the 4-H building, to see if we can help put some Band-Aids on it. And I know that it came up in the last commissioners meeting and it's being reviewed. I don't know if they're going to approve it or not, but all three of them seem to be interested in trying to help Band-Aid or fix some things up there to put a little maintenance cost in it. They were going to review to see where those funds could come from. And that's the last that I know from that.
Did you give them a plan as to how you were gonna utilize the?
I did. I met with the 4-H, including Craig Gibson and Brittany Bertram, thank you. And went over the top 3 things that they felt that they could use, the Band-Aid the most. One is improving the drainage on the gutters. And I have met with some gutter people and we've went over some plans that would help improve it. May not completely eliminate it just because of the way the buildings are designed, but we could significantly reroute that water and change that so it doesn't flood in there. And then the second thing was to fix this wasn't the second thing, but was also to improve or change a few of the posts that are rotted completely out there. One is they asked if we could figure out a way to reduce the heat in the arena. It appears that is probably, from everybody's perspective, the biggest area that they have the issues with, that it gets so hot in there that they can't hardly stand it. They say it's just unbearable. So we've looked at a couple different things of how we could improve that. One is to put a coating on the roof, like a white reflective coating on the roof. Cost wise, that's the least expensive, but still pretty expensive. Doesn't fit in the $30,000 budget. So still looking at how we can open up some venting in that area. And then improving the restrooms. I know they've recently done some painting there, but they're still, if you haven't been in them, they're still pretty rough. So how we can improve in some of the plumbing, maybe possibly change one of the stalls into a handicap stall, in particular in the women's restroom, but how we could improve upon that. Trying to think if there's those are the areas we're looking at trying to see if those funds could go towards.
Did they give you a timeline at all? The commissioners, as to when they were gonna try to have a decision?
Well, not exactly.
By next year?
No. I mean, the goal is to try to get something approval, either move forward with it or not. But it appears things ended a little rough in the commissioners meeting last time.
Okay.
So it kind of got set aside a little bit, not over this, but over other issues. So it's under review and I've reached out to them and, hopefully that by the next commissioners, they'll either say, yes, we can do it, or no, we can't. And I'm gonna not get this right, but one of the city councilmen, last name Toms, Stanton Toms, he's also has had some input in this and is trying to help work to find the funding, is my understanding. So even if they came back with a few dollars is better than no dollars to help whatever we can do. And even if we can only just fix the water issue out there where it's flooding in and the drainage, then that would be a big help. Maybe replace a few, some of the beams out there, the posts there, but I'll see what they say.
They seem to always get one big rain during the course of that 2 weeks for some reason.
That's what they say.
Just a toad strangler,
Yep.
heavy rain.
So
What about the other 4-H and Expo? They got the grant.
okay, well, I'm not sure I'm authorized to speak in behalf of them because I'm not on the board.
They unofficially.
Unofficially, there's a timeline that came out today from the engineering company. And, it's being reviewed as we speak. It just came out today. But, it's moving full board ahead. Timing's being set for everything to go out to bid. I believe it's in July. I've got it on my phone, but all that is proceeding forward. I don't really know anything about water and sewer. That seems to have its own beast. Tom may know more about it than I do.
About any other meetings since the one that you attended.
The only thing I know is that they came out and were spray painting lines not too long ago out
Yeah.
on 100, but that was it.
But I really don't, I mean, I really can't speak a lot to it other than I do know there's a lot of activity going on, moving the building forward. And we recently, this past week, we came in there and the furnaces are going to go in the attic up there, in the trusses. And we came in there and put put a whole floor in the upstairs. We did that in the past week. All the lighting is done in there, so there's lighting in the upstairs and the trusses in the attic and everything. So there is some activity, but the bigger the project will be kicked off, probably to start production or start construction, I should say. I'm guessing sometime in the fall. Not guessing, but that's about when it's supposed to start.
Wealth of information.
I don't know if it's any good, but hopefully.
Jim. Sorry. Mrs. Sanders came in the other day and she requested the original sign. I guess when you guys build it, they want the original sign up. My guys are looking into it because I know at one point we did have it
Okay.
in the park. And
So-
once I find it, then I will let you know.
Okay, so I've explained to them that it's not my choice to say whether that sign can go up again. It's completely up to the park and in the agreement and the process that we went through and we documented everything. I mean, it's a pretty large sign is my understanding when I look at the pictures. So realistically, the park board's gonna have to decide what size of signage they want to put up on the new shelter, because it is a new shelter. And it is in memorial, I believe, or of, I think it's Joe Sanders, I believe it is. And so you guys will have to decide what kind of sign you want, size and look you want to put up there. I'm guessing it's got to be some kind of sign that's reflective of the image that you want for the park going forward. Because I explained to them that just because this sign was up here before, and if they do find it, that doesn't mean that that sign can go back up there. It's really up to the park board.
Well, if it doesn't look like it fits, maybe we can put it inside.
That's what I was thinking. Put it up inside of a gabled end or something like that.
Yeah, and apparently they had some benches or something that were saved, or like tables that didn't have the benches. And they wanted them, I believe her brother, I think it was, worked at the park and helped build the shelter. That was like the biggest part of it. And so like the things that he helped build, that was,
Look and see if we have any of that stuff that might fit.
Yeah, I think that really needs to be reviewed, whether it's benches or things, because as I explained to them, that things have changed from when they first did them. Some things may be not safe, I mean, or conditions, I don't know any of that stuff. But all that they want to add to the project that I presented to you really is outside of my scope. So I know that we're going to put something out there with for the Saunders family, but it's yet to be determined by you guys.
Thanks.
Liz, you said earlier that there may be something a new memorial that Norma wanted to talk about, or?
Yes, and she told me she was going to be here. She wanted to be on the
Yeah.
thing, and I've not heard from her since.
Okay, and Chris Carroll didn't make it?
No, he was messaging with Cade on the Facebook page, but I didn't look to see what it was.
All right.
I do know he was out this week. No, last week. He was out and he had asked the guys to use one of the gators so he could go around and, I guess, install baskets or something.
Sheldon?
I'll report to you about the pond lighting project. Our funds are coming in very well. We've just about reached our goal. We still need a few $1,000s. Tony Tech, as I refer to him, and I submitted a couple applications. We're gonna get some more money from Duke Energy, and we're gonna get some more money from REMC for this project. I've been tying it a pond lighting project as well as a dusted on walking path, and they like that. So that's on the way, at least one of them, and we're pretty sure that the second REMC grant will get probably what we asked for, but until we get it in the bank, then I'll tell you how much it is. But it's substantial, both of them. The contractor has paid, he paid for the light poles. He did that early because there'd be a 4-week delay if they didn't go ahead and pay for them. And through the Friends of the Park bank account, I had Steve write a check with an invoice from him that they're paid for. And so those are paid for. So April 27th is extremely important. He's going to have the bore company there to bore in the power lines. We've got to have the locates before then. That's a must. And we've got a little,
I think Cade was working on those
I'm
today.
pretty sure Cade was working on it, as well as Sheldon. Here's the deal. The first estimate, I don't know what they thought they were gonna do. The first estimate was crazy. It was like $6,000. Well, of course, Cade didn't want to do that, and me either. So then we had another estimate for around 3. So I called over there and talked to them, and here's what's gonna happen. I told her to send Cade a proposal for $3,000, not to exceed $3,000, but it would only be paid for what they actually do, $264 an hour. And that's fair. There's a trip, cost, I think it was $90 each way or something, couple $100 per trip, and $264 per hour for the locate. But if we don't get it located by the 27th, that board guy's going somewhere else. And I'm not gonna have that. Bloodhound's the only one that we know of that does private locates. And if anybody knows another company, please tell us. But we've had them out there before when we did the pond, and I don't remember it being excessive. It's the same layout. And I told the people I talked to at Bloodhound the same thing. I said, you guys were over there, and I don't remember that being excessive like that. She said, well, I don't know what we were told as far as they were talking about 24 hours of work. I said, you're gonna come over here 2.5 days and what? That's not right. So anyway, that's what we gotta do. But the 27th, and I think Cade told me that he thought that the guy was gonna get back with him today to schedule. Now I'll be checking tomorrow, or Liz, you check. We've got to do this. Cause I'm not having this project delayed after all the fine donations we have to get it done. That's just beyond crazy. So if you hear about me getting involved, that's true, because I'm not gonna let it happen. So Tom, you and anybody needs to be aware of that and make sure it happens. Because we've got to do that. He's not gonna start construction until we get locates. And we know it's unusual out there. There's nothing, there's no maps, there's nothing. And we can't call 811 because it's not a public utility. They're all private. So you can't call Newcastle Water and say, locate your water line, because they won't do it. It stops at Highway 3. So it's kind of an unusual situation, but not, we can overcome that, and I'm getting the money. That was a question, well, who's gonna pay? We'll take care of it. We got money coming, thanks to Tony, and we did couple applications, and I think, we'll be able to handle it. So if we have any money left over from just the initial project, we got bollards to put in, permanent bollards. We've got striping to do. And there's some pavement on the south side, the traffic side, I want to replace the 10-foot wide section with new pavement and then make the drainage go where it should and make a nice path. That's another thing that takes some money. I don't have that much money. But we've been working through the Friends of the Park with their bank account. And we've got the money market. And the last time we had what, $500 or $600 in interest, I think, which helps. That's the status. We want to start the 27th with the boring. So we've got to get the locates done. Very important. So does anybody have any questions about what we're doing?
Do not call me tomorrow morning at 8:30 because I won't talk
I'll
to
be
him.
calling you, Liz, you know that.
I know. I won't talk to him until after that. Usually I don't talk to him until about 9
You call
o'clock.
me, how's that?
I will call you as soon as I
I
talk to
won't
him.
bother you. But we have to do this. This is not something we can do next week. It's got to be done this week. And then I can get with Clint, who's the contractor. And I've talked to him every other day because he's got to know when they're going to do this. Or his board guy's going to move on. And that delay our project. I don't know when we'd get it back. Sometime, but there's no need for it. So, anybody have any questions about anything else? I don't remember the balance, but we're right there. We've got about enough money to do the job, and we're gonna get some more. Okay,
And one day we'll build a bridge.
Well,
that'll be a different story there.
I need to stay here. There is one other thing here. So on the lighting, I picked up the 4 lights to go on the bridge.
The
And
original ones.
yeah, the original ones, and I have them in the truck right now. But I've taken them around to a couple people to have them look at to see if they can be repaired. So one has a complete break at the base, and one has a broken seam at the other. And the other 2, they're in rough condition. So I took them to a couple of different people to see about sandblasting them, and then have them probably brazed, not welded. And
What are they made of?
Cast.
yeah, thin cast. It's not thick, so it's a little bit concerning. So, but I did get a guy in Liberty who said, I took him down to him to look at him, and he said that he felt, and I said, we gotta be pretty confident if we're gonna try to braze these, we don't blow through them. But he felt that they could do them, but it would be $1,250 to do the 4 lights. Sandblast them, disassemble them, take all the parts off of them, and the nuts and bolts that are corroded or whatever, and then braze them back together. So $1,250. I did meet with Carrie Barrett and Jennifer Fox last week on another issue and brought it up to Carrie Barrett, and Carrie is going to go with me to the high school on Monday, I think it is. Monday, I believe is we're going. And we're gonna talk to the high school, the building trades to see if they could potentially would take these on as a project and could repair these and restore them, at least to the point is that at some point. So we are gonna look to see what resources they have at the high school. And
Now, these lights, if you don't know, they were the original ones on the banisters there. And we felt like it'd be appropriate to try to put them back. And, of course, that's the Henry County Community Foundation that Jim was talking about working through. So, anybody has any good ideas or pass the hat and we'll get them done.
What's the community foundation role in it, other than?
really, the community foundation role wasn't in that. Carrie Barrett was. She offered, she had relationships and connections at the high school. And I really wanted to talk to them to see if, because it may be something that they could do right there at the school. They don't have to go on site because I guess their projects are already scheduled a year out or a long-term out. But this is something that might be something they may be interested in. They're willing to meet, and she was able to facilitate. And so that was really the real role there.
And I will tell you on the bridge, and Jim's worked lots of time and effort. The people that run the foundation are very excited about this project. They tell us that. And so that's a bigger deal, and it will be coming back with a lot of details. But eventually the fundraising is going to start. You'll see me around town. Like we did on the lighting project. People are pretty generous if they like the project. And I think they will.
I think so. We'll put prints together, renditions of it. We did rescale it, not by much, but after we did go out there and we set actual height posts and we scaled it and took pictures, and I'll try to do an actual site rendering of it, but we set posts so we could understand the scale of it. We didn't change the overall width or the height of it, but we did scale the length of it. And we felt that visually wise, after we set all the posts up and set dimensions out and we spray painted up some spots out there. We felt that really fits that space to scale to. Now, again, it all comes down to once we put the package together, what the park board thinks and will support. But we have tried to look at everything size-wise and how it fits into the park setting.
This needs to be, if we do like we're saying, it needs to be tied in historically, of course. And be a appropriate thing to do for the park because of the history. And it was a 49-foot span, by the way, originally, and we backed it. That's what Jim was talking about. I think we took 8 or 12 feet off of it, but the height, width, everything be the same. And there's a lot of interesting things you can do with that. The old bridges had advertisements on them. It had directions, Fort Wayne, the arrow somewhere. Could be a fun thing. So this is, and Jim's spending a lot of time with this, and I'm doing what I can do, but it'll be a big deal. It's something I hope the board will really get behind and try to get some ideas about how to get some more money, and we'll keep working at it.
Sheldon.
Yeah.
Kate just said that, yes, he's talked to Bloodhounds. They are going to come out before the 27th. He's waiting for the dispatcher to give the exact date.
Okay, as long as it's before.
But he said
Wonderful.
But he also said that he had told you that earlier.
Calling, Clint tomorrow for sure and tell him that to plan on he's gonna have his board guy there at the 27th. That's all. So if it's marked, that's great. Yep, good. That's all I have.
Thanks, Sheldon. Tony?
Not much add for the friends. The boring option, they were looking at trenching. The boring's gonna save our sod some that we've already put down.
Oh, yeah.
The pier, it's kind of on standstill right now. The coming soon sign we've talked about putting out by the pond is kind of on hold until those guys are done and do whatever they need to do. And we kind of stay out of the way, and it's just a 4x4 hole. Kind of like the tail trails signs. One of those, put a picture in. Coming soon.
Like your haircut, by the way.
Well,
That's a good haircut you got.
Like that?
Mm.
Birdies like that.
do you want to say anything? Everybody else has had a chance to speak. Katie? Anybody else?
We have more to work through. Did we take care of, I looked through the stack of paper over the last couple of months.
Oh, do not ask me
Transfer of the
questions.
$5,000, all that, is that?
Oh, you have to ask my boss about that.
Oh,
I had no idea.
I'm pretty sure that went through.
already been taken care of.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's just a behind the scenes operational thing that they have to do with the
Okay.
office uptown.
Just making sure
I think
we
I
covered
remember-
all of our
I
bases.
think I remember being at the meeting where they approved that.
I don't know because I didn't watch
To
the
be
live.
confirmed.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been very busy with that computer thing.
Yeah, we've had to move some money around and that's okay. And
Yeah.
We're gonna have to move some more. I forgot to mention during the superintendent's report because he's home taking it easy. It's a nice day. He's probably just hanging out by the fire.
Well,
Um,
he
Superintendent
answered me
Allen.
quick.
Everything good with?
Everything's good.
Superintendent
He said it's really good. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they don't have any problem at all.
Good.
Um,
There was a lot of work to be done there.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much caught up on that. It was suggested that once we got into spring, that we finish the pump out on the septic system. It was only partially done, to get us through back in the winter when Cade went into there. And he was calling up and he may have gotten that done by now. I know they were gonna have to do some digging to make access, but we'll check to see if he got that done. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have even seen it, yeah. Especially yet, but he did say that, we're having some mower issues right now and, 2 are still down for maintenance.
One, we got the call from Clean Slate today. The Hustler
Yeah, it's.
was ready for pickup, so Holcomb went and picked it up. And that's all I know about that.
I think we're still, because we were down to nothing but the bush hog. So we got 1 back. And I think we will now have 2 back after the Clean Slate fixed the one today. So it's old equipment and he's having issues with it. Trying to keep some of that old stuff is a losing battle at times, but he is working on a couple of programs. We've talked with Debbie about how we go through potentially leasing a mower and maybe that we're looking at that we can lease something on a 2 to 3 year basis and we might be ahead just leasing something every 3 years and just rolling that over and trying to keep ahead of the mower issue.
That I do know he was doing.
Yeah, we're working on that. Nothing signed or committed yet. And one of the mower manufacturers has a grant program
I was just reading
Um,
about that.
and he is going through that application process for those. That was what, 20 or 25,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 50,000 total, 25,000 towards a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
So
So that would be nice if we can get that. He's working on that. So that's something.
says he's
we-
submitted the application
Uh-huh.
already for the hometown Kubota grant. that would give us 50,000 for equipment, 25,000 in credit and 25,000 in cash. So he's
So
also working on a clean water grant,
Yes,
whatever that's about. Okay.
it has many little things, all good
They
though.
all do. Good.
Yeah.
Good. We need a good grant writer. I bet I know somebody that works with a lot of grants and such.
Okay.
Shelter house and the old shelter house, beautiful. The restroom facilities, have you considered up there trying to get sanitary to the east, to the line that's on the east side of 3 or not?
Yeah,
I
that's,
mean, that could
that's,
be done. That's another project that,
that's been talked about.
pardon,
That's been talked about before.
who's doing that?
We haven't talked about it for 6 months, but
Well, here's the reason I bring it up. 'Cause you got a board guy there that I could at least tell him, I mean, it's 500 feet from the edge of the shelter house to the sanitary on the east side. As I recall, if you bored under 3 or 4 inches or less, which you would need a lot with a pump, you don't have to case it. The bigger you do, and put hangers and all that stuff, very expensive. But I thought when he's out there, if it's okay with you, and I can get out while he's there, I would ask him what he thought about boarding that from the shelter. Just ask, it's not anything else. But it'd be a project that's very much needed, I think. Was quit pumping it, dude out pumps out all the time and I was down there when I could get around and there was some bad water getting back into the lake and we don't like that. So, that would be another project in itself, but it'd be the time to find out, well, what's it take? I don't think it's as bad as people say, hey, you can't go under 3. Yes, you can. I mean, people that do that work, they're not scared to do it.
So your question's about tying the shelter house into the
Well,
sewer?
that would be an initiative to do that at least. Of course, you could tie it into other things, but that it would be an outlet for the big shelter house.
Yeah.
or, because that's probably the only restrooms there. Once you get the new shelter house and the big shelter house, I mean, you're gonna have to have some facilities around there pretty soon. Better. Is that right, Liz?
So there's the handicap bathroom in this shelter house, the 2 downstairs from the shelter house, and then John Trout across the way has one. And then just down from that would be the Jimmy Steele North Shelter has one too.
Because there could be some money out there for that sort of thing, sanitary, water quality. I could make up motherhood and apple pie all day about that. And that's what you gotta do, to try to get money. So, just brought it up for your consideration and I'm not trying to get in your way or anything, but while he's there, that'd be the time to find out what that might cost to do. that.
yeah, we probably need to look and see what it costs. We're gonna have to go to the commissioners
mean,
and ask anyway.
I don't know, because I don't know about the rules about casing and stuff, but I think I'm right, but I don't know that.
We trust you.
I forgot to tell you something. I received a phone call the other day from the principal at the middle school. He's affiliated with the soccer league that was out at the soccer field. They are coming within the next couple weeks. Pritchett's is coming to get the green little shed thing that they have out there. And he did say that we could keep the white one, that we're taking the green one. So if anybody sees anything happening, that's, or if it's missing, that's why, because they were taking.
Yeah, I know that whole thing was changing. The whole soccer ball thing.
And apparently they're going to be based out of Sunnyside Elementary now, so.
Yep. Anything else?
I have nothing more. Make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
We're adjourned.
We got a busy day tomorrow.
That means you're important if you've got an alarm set.
Oh, it's every day like clockwork. It's every day like clockwork. It's totally fine. I'm calling that my touchdown.
Somebody's got a call,
Hey, Liz.
you know?
One request is you go through and build your drama theater with that. Can you send it to them? Just, I would hate to miss-
So-
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Yeah, so
That would be
all I
upset.
have, so all I have are.
And I'm thinking of like folks that
They are
separately, Jerry Cash.
Yeah.
Jerry Cash.
He's on my list.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People that
He's
were
on my
involved
list.
in, people that were involved in the shelter house. and others.
Right.
I didn't know the last one that were coming or it was already done.
Yeah, yeah. That's fine.
Hi, Katie. Bye, Liz. Tell Kurt I said hi.
I will do that.
Tina.
Yeah. I want to tell you.
My cat's level and my husband likes them.
Shelby, you know I love you.
Diet, no snacks.
Ah. Really? This is really been.
Well,
Oh, yeah. I never had-